Today, I'm gonna teach you one of the most popular recipes in North America. A recipe that unfortunately, when made in a traditional way, is a representation of style over substance. A red velvet cake.
From the longest afternoon.
It's not a chocolate cake, it's not a vanilla cake. Since when does red color has flavor? I'm gonna start by adding my dry ingredients to this bowl. And first, my flour. My flour is not bleached, it's non-bleached flour. Why? Because the bleached flour changes the pH of this cake, and since we are gonna extract the red color in a natural way, it's important to keep the pH right. So the flour has to be unbleached flour, which is good for you, for everybody. Add flour, salt, and baking powder. Now you should add the cocoa powder, and it has to be the natural cocoa powder, not that Dutch processed one that I like so much. The natural cocoa powder is lighter in color and much easier to find. Back in times, the true redness behind this cake was given by the cocoa's natural pigment. When in contact with acids such as buttermilk and vinegar, it created this sort of like reddish color. But the reddish color was pretty faint. So what happened was that a brilliant human mind decided to create something a little bit different to make a red velvet more reddish. And that's when things started to go down the hill. Oh, speaking of down the hill, attention to that little hole under my arm. These, my friends, are beets. And don't roll your eyes at me because my cake will not taste like beets. I'm gonna teach you a way to extract the color but not the flavor. And it's a pretty awesome way that I developed and I tried many times before coming here to teach you. So again, don't roll your eyes at me. So here, I'm gonna cut off the leaves. You can save these leaves for juice. I love vegetable juice, and these leaves are so nutritious. They're so great. It's like, they're delicious. I love them. So don't throw them away. If you're using a juicer and your beets are organic, you don't have to peel it. Don't use industrialized beet juice because it destroys the battening, the ingredient responsible for the bright color in the beets. Now, let's juice the beets. And if you don't have a juicer, don't worry, I'm gonna teach you how to use your blender to extract the juice from the beets. To use a blender or food processor, peel the beets and finally chop them. Add 1 to 2 cups of water and blend it or process it until very fine and smooth. Don't forget to sift it well after you're done. Here, I'm juicing 6 beets for 3 cups of juice. Add the juice to a small saucepan. Over medium heat, reduce this juice to 3/4 of a cup. I know red is luxurious and seductive, but the only reason this recipe has such a bright color is because of a guy named John Adams. John decided to make his version of this cake, which included some of his own products. 2 bottles of his own red food coloring, and also some butter flavor and some vanilla extract. So he was giving away free recipe cards around town, in grocery stores, and everybody was fascinated by that reddish color. So after years and years, this cake still is very, very popular, but we forgot the reason why it was once created, and it was just to sell food coloring. The artificial version of this cake came up in the 60s, even though this recipe was created in 1910. Our cake's gonna look just as red, but with colors from Mother Earth. Too much heat can also destroy the battening from the beets, so keep the flame medium. After approximately 15 minutes, you end up with this beautiful, gorgeous, reduced beet juice. Now that my beet juice has cooled down, it's very beety, juicy. It smells like beets. I'm going to add the acids here. So first, I'm gonna add some rice vinegar. All the amount of ingredients is on my website. You just click down here and you're gonna be sent to my, you're gonna be forward. And I'm also gonna add some lemon juice here. When this recipe was created in 1910, it was very, very common, those kind of name flourishes, such as mahogany, silver, velvet. But this cake is especially called velvet because of its fine crumbs. We add so much acids in here, such as buttermilk, vinegar, lemon, that it creates a super fine crumb, and that's why it resembles a velvety surface. Now let's cream butter and sugar. In a bowl, add room temperature butter and start whisking it. You can do by hand or using a mixer. Slowly add the sugar and whisk it until fluffy and pale yellow. This method is known as creaming method, and it's widely used for making cakes. This technique maintains the humidity in the cake. We want moist cake! This is what you get when you close your eyes and dance without a human. As soon as the butter mixture looks pale yellow and fluffy like this, you can start adding your eggs. Add one egg at a time until fully incorporated. Add the vanilla extract and the buttermilk. Stop whisking as soon as you add the buttermilk. Now, all we have to do is combine the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And this mixture looks pretty awful right now. Look, it's kind of gross. It looks all curdled, but it's because of the butter. No problem. So, add this butter and egg and everything else to your dry ingredients. Now, just have to add my beet juice with my acids. And this is gonna turn this whole bowl into a beautiful, beautiful red color. Super velvety, if that's what you're looking for. If not, then it won't. No, it will. Even if it's not what you're looking for. Butter and flour your pan, and let's get going because I want to eat this cake and this is taking too long. I can hear the ocean here. I really can. Okay, so I'm using 2 tiny pans because I want my cake to be super tall but small. If you don't want to use tiny, like small pans like mine, just use a regular 9-inch one and you're gonna make one beautiful red cake. This 5-inch pan yields 3 cakes. Preheat your oven at 350 Fahrenheit and bake for 35 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Have you ever wondered why we love cream cheese frosting so much? Almost everybody loves it. It's because of the tanginess. That tangy taste with the sweet taste from the sugar, it's just a heaven combination. Since tanginess is the secret, I'm going to use goat cheese in my frosting. Don't get weirded out. Chèvre is a mild cheese better than cream cheese. I'm still going to add some cream cheese to my frosting, just to lighten it up, to make it a little bit more subtle, the taste of the goat cheese. But I'm gonna add half goat cheese and half cream cheese. You have no idea how great and how enhanced this frosting is gonna be. Add to the cheese some butter, and all the ingredients must be room temperature, and confectionery sugar. Whisk it all together for 5 minutes until very fluffy. Add vanilla extract and that's it, your frosting is done.
I've forgotten how it feels with the carpet under my seat. It's the polyester fibers that wrap around my feet. Feels like home.
Let the cake rest for 10 minutes before you unmold it. The best way to cool them is in a cooling rack and turning them upside down. Its own weight will flatten its top and makes them more even. Now that I have these two beautiful mini cakes almost in the palm of my hands, I'm gonna start assembling it. And I have a third one still baking in the oven, but I'm not gonna use for this assemble that I'm gonna make here. They smell so good. They smell more chocolatey than vanilla-y. Vanilla-y. Using a serrated knife, remove the top of the cake, the convex part. Then slice the cake in half. Do it carefully so you can slice it evenly. Now I have a really cool trick for you. With a knife, make a vertical cut in the edge of your cake. Just like this. This mark will help you put the cake back on in the same spot after you frost it. Usually when you slice a cake in half, it's not very even. This way you can match the line mark you did and the cakes will stack perfectly and not crooked. Start frosting your cake only after it's cold. I'm almost done here, I promise, but I want to do a final touch. I'm gonna make a little barrier around this cake so I can fill it with my red fruits. You can use a pastry bag or even a Ziploc bag. This little pouch will allow me to put a lot of red fruits here. The pouch of heaven. Now I'm going to add one last detail, which is this cake topper that I made in paper. See? So then we have the title of this red velvet, because it's not a normal red velvet, it's the true red velvet, because I really believe on it. And I'm gonna place it on top, and that's it. Our cake is done. If you're one of those people that judge a red velvet by how red it is, I have a suggestion for you. 3D glasses, where everything is gonna be red naturally. I know there's some poetic rumors about red velvet cake in the World War II, but today you learned the true story behind this cake. And this was my all-natural red velvet cake with goat cheese frosting, and don't worry because the technique I use here won't leave any beet flavor behind. I hope you liked it, and see you next week with another scrumptious dessert. Bing! If you still have doubts if the beets affect the flavor of this cake, I'm gonna prove you it doesn't. Let's put this humble single cake to a test, shall we?
Garçon, if you please, may we have 2 fish, chips and peas? Or as you say, poisson frit and petit pois. What is it?
Very good. It's awesome.
Do you notice anything different?
A hint of lemon.
This one is made with beets.
Whoa! Whoa!
And now, my friends, I hope I have proved my point. Here I go back home cakeless. Because the veggie haters thought there was lemon cake. Ha 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 ha. That's my Machiavellian laugh. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you like my kitchenware, visit my shop.